I'd like to welcome everybody to the February 2022 meeting of the Planning Commission of the Village of Southampton. This is a hybrid meeting where some members are joining us via Zoom, and here we are 2 members within the Village Hall. So to follow our agenda here, we're just going to do quickly the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's stand. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we're going to do a quick roll call. So Pamela Gilmartin.
Pamela, are you here?
Pamela, can you hear us?
She's here, but she's frozen.
She's here.
But frozen.
Okay, Laura Divine?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Eduardo
Absent.
is here. Christian? Is Christian on the Zoom?
We'll see him.
No? All right, maybe Christian will join us later. Bob Essay?
Bob Essay, are you here? No.
No, I think so.
No. Michelangelo?
Michelangelo?
Yeah, he's present. Michael Anderson?
No.
No. Mark Schipper here, and Summer Stelling. Is Summer with us?
No.
No. Okay. So we'll start the meeting with the review of the previous minutes, and has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes. So I'd like to have a motion to adopt the minutes as written.
Motion to adopt the minutes as written?
Make a motion.
Yes, second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Right. So at the last work session meeting, we decided to create some task forces within the Planning Commission, and here we have some suggested names on the task force, and I just would like to run by it fairly quickly. So on the first task force that the Planning Commission created, we created one task force for property and real estate to possibly look at acquisition and disposition of properties within the village. Michael Anderson volunteered to lead this task force. I will be part of it with Pamela Gilmartin. And if any other members wants to join us, please do. So we will report at the next meeting. Sorry?
Who assigned these task forces?
We sort of discussed it at the meeting. But if you want to join any of the task force, just let me know, and we'll be glad to include you. The second task force is on trees and environmental issues, and it's to review the possibility to participate, for the village to participate into Tree City USA, which is sponsored by the Harbor Day Foundation. There's a number of villages on the East End, including Greenport, that have already joined and wish to participate in this. There are some requirements. Yes?
Already over the trees and environmental task force?
Yes, that's where we are. That's where we are. And so on this Trees and Environmental Task Force, I think Michelangelo will be the leader. And we had Christian Picot, who volunteered to be on it also, and Michael Anderson, who has extensive experience with the trees and gardens, and so it would be a great addition. On that same token of Trees Environmental Task Force, I would like to mention that the village has adopted the New York Stretch Code at their meeting on January 13th. So we are now, we've joined the town of Southampton, who also has adopted the New York State Stretch Code, which is an addition to the New York State Energy Conservation Code. On that same Trees Environmental Task Force, yes. Yes. The village of Southampton.
I thought they said it
Sorry?
endorsed the
I wasn't
adoption.
aware that the bill adopted.
I didn't think
Yes,
it
there was.
adopted yet.
No, there's a resolution. It's Resolution 2022-514, dated 1/13 of this year, whereby the village of Southampton has adopted the New York Stretch Code.
It says recommends. It didn't say adopt, it said recommends.
Which one?
It said recommends that the Southampton endorse the adoption. So it hasn't been adopted yet. It says it recommends that the village should.
No, but it's going to adopt.
Well, maybe they will,
Notice
but
public hearing, they have to have public hearing.
it's not adopted yet.
No, it makes-
What it's saying
Well,
is it's
there is a
recommends.
resolution. There is a resolution to adopt it.
Yeah, well, resolution recommends to endorse the adoption,
Okay, fine.
but it hasn't been adopted yet.
All right. So this resolution is the resolution 2022-514 dated 1/13, whereby it says that the Climate Action Committee recommends that the Southampton Village Board of Trustees endorses the adoption of the New York Stretch Code into the current Village Building Code with all due haste and process. I think it's, it's definitely a step in the right direction, and we certainly have the resources here in Southampton Village to go at 5 or 10% more in terms of energy conservation, and I think that it's something that we should all support, and hopefully the village building department will also get the required training to enforce it and make sure that it's applied for any new project. On the environmental, on the same environmental topic, Trustee McLaughlin brought forth to us some recent resolution regarding the leaf blowers regulation, and recently he brought up to our attention that the village of North Haven has adopted regulation concerning gas leaf blowers. I would like to invite everybody to look at those at this regulation. I think it's something that the task force should definitely look into and review. And then here I'm giving you what was adopted by the North Haven. It's interesting that the Tree USA will require that we have a Harbor Day, a proclamation of a Harbor Day, and also that tree maintenance be a separate line item in the budget of the village. So these are some requirements to be part of it. So we look forward to hearing more from the Tree and Environmental Task Force on that. The other task force that we created, we called it the Urban Sustainable Mobility Initiative, and it's to review possible partnership with mobility companies to create more sustainable mobility within the village. On this task force, initially we have as members Bob Essay, Eduardo here, Summer Stelling, and myself. And a little bit later on today, as our first presentation, we're going to have a presentation with Bird Scooters that will also make a presentation later. So to improve the mobility within the village is very important. It's very important such that the various centers, from the train station to the village center to the beaches, there's easier mobility, less traffic. So we look forward to working together on this. And the last but not least task force is the study of creating a village senior center or a senior club at the Veterans Hall. And I know that on that committee we have, on that task force, we have Laura, Pamela, and Summer Stelling. And anybody else who would like to join is welcome. I know that Laura, Pamela, and Summer have done a great job studying the possibility, looking forward to developing it. This is very much supported by the Southampton Village Comprehensive Plan and the studies that they had, where it shows that the median age in the village of Southampton is over 56 years old. So the senior population in the village is growing, is a larger and larger percentage. So I think it's very appropriate to study to be able to service more that section of the population within the village. I don't know if Laura or Pam wants to add something. Would you like to add something, Pam or Laura? Okay, so
did Chris get his answer? I wasn't at the task force meeting. Did Chris get his answer on the fact that there was something established? I talked at the meeting before that because my sound wasn't up, but I don't know if he was ever got a satisfactory answer that committee that they had just wasn't functioning anymore. And that's why we were going after another one, or restart the old one. That's because what had been is no more.
You're right. There used to be a senior committee in the villages. I think it was called Senior and Youth Committee in the village.
You understand?
Right, so I think that...
There used to be, and it is no more.
Right, that's correct. So I think that we're looking...
We're trying to restart.
Right, we're looking for the task force to possibly revamp or restructure or recreate or help the village, service better the senior community.
I think that we will try to have a face-to-face meeting with the mayor further the plan that was put before the planning commission in their December meeting or November meeting, I'm not sure which one, to talk to him about it forward.
Yes.
And I think that's where
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. I think that, however, maybe we should get our sort of our ducks in order and make sure that we have something concrete to present and with various alternatives. So I think
we have our initial outline that we will present to the board. And I don't know if there are additional comments from the planning commission. I haven't seen them.
well, I think that we need to define.
If there are, we're glad to incorporate them.
Yeah, I think that we need to define a little bit more the plan of action.
Well, I'm sorry, honey, I can't hear you. I really can't. I know you can hear me.
As I said, you think it's this one? No, it's not this one. Apparently it's this one there. It's this one there, yes. It's this one. Can you hear me now? Okay, so... All right.
But I did want to put myself forward more for an assignment to the
task force. You have Summer on a task force, she's no longer a member.
Oh, she's no longer a member? So we'll correct this, let me correct the membership of the task force.
I have Molly Moria, and I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's not easy. It's hard to hear too. I'm looking at it right inside.
And you've done a tremendous job, and this is not too big.
Thank you, I'm just waiting to hear.
Yes. All right, so we'll revise the list on the task force. Yeah. So moving right along, on the next item on the agenda, we were supposed to have a special presentation by the village clerk, Kathy Sweeney, but we've rescheduled it for the March meeting, which we'll either we'll do it as a full Zoom meeting, or we'll only do it a hybrid if Kat feels that she's got the right equipment to do it. Kathy will be speaking on the record keeping on the required continuing education requirements for village employees and board members, and more specifically, land use board members. And Kathy will also be speaking about cybersecurity and to improve the security of the village computer system and the email system that we are all using. The next item on the agenda was the presentation by Jeremy Lynch from Bird. Is he with us, Kat?
I think somebody. Yes.
So let's bring him in.
We forgot to,
Kat, can you, let him, can you email
email.
Okay. Still, trustee the link seems to be struggling to get in. Thank you.
I will try, but I have so many things going in this computer.
Yeah, I don't know I sent him the link and it didn't.
No, he was on the screen though. Kat, he was on the screen.
How are you? Good night, how are you, sir? All right, so we are here to present, but if you haven't been able to we're in a hybrid. Some of us are at the trial, some of us are at home. One of us is going on vacation and is on COVID. So we'll be able to see you, so people will be able to see it as well. Paul, do you have anything you want to say? Mark might not be able to hear me, but we can hear you.
Okay, so
everyone can hear me.
yes.
I'm close to the mic, I think. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. It's only about, I think, 9 slides. I can send over a larger deck to Mike later to share around, but I think these 9 slides will keep me under 10 minutes. And so that shouldn't be too bad. So hopefully everyone will be okay with the 10 minutes. Okay. Slideshow. Okay, so what is Bird? It's a micromobility company focused on shared electric vehicle safety. Just right there. When we started this business, scooter business back in 2017 in Santa Monica, was to get people out of cars and really kind of work towards that first mile, last mile type of transportation. So we've got people to get around smaller towns or even larger towns in smaller areas and neighborhoods by simply just using scooters to get to and from particular forms of transit, or to get that first mile, last mile that allows them to, not have to get into a car. And that's one thing about equipment. They're not big cities, and the interesting thing about those cities that we looked last year in the U.S., over 170, was all those were within 50 to 75 scooters in those particular markets. So our focus is to launch in communities on a much smaller scale. So if I say 50 scooters, that means what we'd see out every day will be 25 to 30 at the top end of scooters being out on the road. As I mentioned, in the third mile, last mile, the really quick trips is what we look for. 1 mile, possibly 3 miles, 3 miles pretty far on a scooter. To get to and from to work or school, or get home from work, or you go have lunch at home. One of the things also not to worry about reparking in a lot of communities is one of those things you find out one parking space, or if you need to home for something, it's far easier to jump on a scooter to go do that. Also connecting transit or go one way. So a lot of my focus is working. Actually signed the deal with the city of Nashville to work with their public bus system to provide that their bus. So connect the transit and the road, work with Circuit to figure out where the load drops are in those locations so it has scooters available for those folks that use that type of transportation to get around the village a little easier. It's all app-based, so you download the program, you do have to sign a user agreement, which can include the insurance. They do have to be 18 years of age, and we can have a driver's license requirement to make sure that those are spending up are 18. There's a debit and credit card requirement. We also actually do have the ability for the banks to use the program as well. There's an education tutorial that teaches people how to ride, where to ride. There's actually a slow start option, so if you weren't sure about your balance on the scooter, the scooter would stop up, hit the top speed of 15 miles an hour, or whatever it would take about a half hour to so used to ride. I believe there's a set of local rules that are individually customized towards every community. So that can be ride zones where they're permitted to park, where they're not permitted to be, things like the road like a bike that are not allowed to be on the sidewalks. New York State law prohibits scooters from moving on the sidewalks. What the dockless model does, it does provide people the ability to take it to places that necessarily if you did have a dock or a system set up in such a manner that you wouldn't be able to necessarily take it home for an errand or go to a particular location where a dock wasn't set up. We do have seven parking locations in particular kind of areas, but what we find is most of the time people find places to park outside of those areas in the furniture zone or places that are out of the way of the people on the sidewalk or people that would be crossing the street, things of that nature. We do have we designated an operating zone for the scooters in the village, so there would be an area where the scooters would be operational and where they wouldn't be. When someone finishes their ride, when they do finish and park it, they actually use their phone to scan out of the scooter, and they have to actually take a picture of the scooter where they parked it, so we can double check where they parked it to make sure it was parked properly. And that picture is uploaded to the cloud, so it's in their account, so if someone ever complains about that vehicle being parked improperly, we know we didn't have a picture of it and can basically monitor the system to show folks like that were parked and improve upon that. So it's about $1 a minute to get on, and 49 cents a minute thereafter. Excuse me, it's $1 a minute and 49 cents a minute thereafter. Most of our average rides anywhere between $6 and $8 per ride. We do have discounts available for community pricing program for those on assistance. They get 50% off as well as to veteran senior citizens, healthcare workers, and like university or community colleges is present. Those are on grants or financial aid also get that same kind of discount as well. So we talked about some of the great technology that we have. So what we do have is the geofencing technology. So all of your vehicles are tracked by GPS, and our system is so good we can track the vehicles from 1 to 2 feet. And you use GPS in order to create what you're seeing on the right is that no ride zone. So if a scooter rides into the no ride zone, basically they would be alerted within the yards of entering it, and once they enter it, the scooter would come to a stop. I know there's an area in town where bicycles aren't allowed, and I'll show that on the next slide, that would be an automatic no ride zone, so no one would be able to ride a scooter into the area. It would come to a stop, you have to push it back out in order for it to be viable and riding. We also create slow zones too, so if there are highly traffic areas, we want the scooter top speed to go down to 15 or go from 15 to 12 or 10, we can do that. Just gives them a little more of a heads up as that they're in an area that there's a little more out of traffic, and they should be more aware of what's going on around them, and slowing down certainly helps that as well. So the operating map, this is just an example of what this could look like. So we would, as I said, the slide on the picture in the middle is more or less what circuits operational zone looks like. So try to kind of stay within that area. So that's if the people are using circuit, then these would be some of the people that possibly would use scooters to get from that particular destination, pickup point to a further destination. That may be the local bus stop, the beach, Agawam Park, any of the local hotels and restaurants, the Long Island Railroad, things like that. So we would work with circuit to find out those areas and just figure out where the popular areas are to place scooters and make sure that we're putting them in areas where they're going to be ridden and not in areas where they work. As you can see to the right, that area of downtown that is cordoned off, it would look something like that. So people would know right away that's a no ride zone. We'd be alerted, first of all, the local rules, but also they would see in the app that you can't ride into it. So the area that is designated downtown, that Hollyag or whatever the geometric shape is, it would be designated as a no ride zone for the village. One of the cool things is, you can't see often this, but public bike share integration. So what we do have is the ability to, we would talk to a pedal share, and what we do is incorporate their bike system into our app. So when riders search for a vehicle in the app, they would automatically see the pedal share bikes, along with our scooters as well. And if they wanted to use a pedal share bike, if a scooter was available, they would simply just tap on the icon, and it would take them to the pedal share app, and they'd be able to reserve a bike out of that. So it's completely free to the cities and the operators. There's nothing charged by pedal share, but it does just incorporate the mobility systems together, so they can, if someone was looking for a scooter and they couldn't find one, they could go to the existing pedal share system and use one of those, which is really neat. So what we do is, medicine for locals, we basically hire what's called a fleet manager. And what we do is we look for someone locally to manage the program for us. An example would be Rotations Bicycle Center, someone that's already using bike rental as a form of income. They have the infrastructure already set up. They are locally aware of what's going on, where to place scooters, where they get rides, and definitely keep them out of areas where they would. So that is very helpful in this kind of model, because getting someone locally to manage the program is super helpful. Not only does it keep a lot of money in the local economy, because they get a good percentage of the ride revenue off of every ride, but also they are able to address problems right away because they are local. So if there was a problem with a particular scooter being damaged or on private property, somebody wanted to move, they're local, they can go by in a few minutes, pick that scooter up, put it back where it should be, and remove from that area. Again, like I said before, they're operational experts already. They have experience, would have experience in logistics, and know the area is super important. And again, because they benefit off of every ride financially, knowing where to put them to get rides is super important. So knowing when the trains come in, make sure they're up available at the train station at certain times, and then when they get, the scooters get to their destination, pick them back up, take them back to the train station again for the next train to come in, so that more people continue to use the service. So scooters are in use a lot more than normal, and so that not only benefits them, but again, reduces the clutter and the annoyance factor where people think that scooters incorporate into a community that if they're in a lot of use, you won't see them that often, and when you do, they'll be going down the road and not just parked in a bunch on the side or in a particular parking zone. Another great thing is no debt, so they do not need to buy the vehicles. We provide the vehicles free of charge to those fleet managers, and we train them, run through all the data, all the everything on the app itself and what that looks like for them, all the compliance metrics that they have to live up to, So there are metrics that they have to fulfill. If a scooter sits long to one location, if a complaint comes in about a scooter, they have a certain time frame with which they have to address it. So it's a serious role, but one that for us it has paid dividends regarding nuisance scooter issues we've had in the past. We've cleaned a lot of that up, and so and with the smaller fleet that we're talking about, it really helps to have these folks local doing that. Plus, and they have to hire a couple of folks to work the scooters as well. So again, bringing more money back into the community is super helpful too. Another thing that's great is you would have access to the data that are generated from the scooters themselves. So you would have access to a data dashboard similar to what we're seeing here. It gives you a lot of rider behavior issues, the number of the length of rides, the destination locations, where they're being picked up, where they're being dropped off. And again, this is what our fleet manager would use to basically know where to put scooters. Because after a week or two, they're going to see where the rides are ending up in the beginning, and know to place those scooters in the morning, afternoon, and evening at particular locations, because they know when that's where the rides are originating and ending. So you kind of eliminate the ability for scooters to be placed in areas where you wouldn't want them, because if the rides are beginning and ending there, the fleet manager will not put them there. So this is a great way, a great tool for us, not only in the city to see how well the scooters are taking off and doing, but also for the fleet manager to know where to put scooters and where not to put them. So it's super important as far as making sure that scooters are in areas where they're popular and important to be with. So this approach was pretty simple. There's no investment required at all from the village. You would have a dedicated account manager to work on the product features that I talked about, the geofencing, the data dashboard. The number of vehicles we'll be talking would be 50 that would go to that fleet manager. But again, what you'd see would be at the busiest times, 2/3 of those out on any given day. And then there would be specific operating zone for the scooters that we would work with the village to outline. So where the scooters would be prohibited and where they would not be. And obviously you look for something with a spring to launch to get everything up and running smoothly and integrate with pedal share and circuit, so that by the time the real season came around, they would already be a part of the new mobility options in the community. And we do have an MOU that we like to sign with new partners. What that does is protect the village, we indemnify the village, and also the insurance that will cover the village as well. And we also name the village on our COI as additional insured. And that MOU kind of has that protection for the individual records.
Any great presentation, and I appreciate how concise and clean it was. I do have a bunch of questions that I hope you're ready. First, one is there a want-to-adopt model that you would consider, or is it only the adoptless model that people can leave these where they like minus the zones that we've voted?
We are working on a private nest model currently, meaning that they can only start in a particular location, only in set locations. So you would, pick 5 of the most popular areas as ending locations, and those would be the only places that. So the technology exists so that you wouldn't be able to end your ride unless you were in one of those particular ending nests. We can do that, yes.
All right, well, that's something that we might want to consider if we were to move forward is putting a train station in a place where we'd be putting it in our downtown area, because quickly it's hard to navigate if you do want to limit this. 50, the number 50, is that the real number that you can move forward with, or is there another number if we wanted to have more of a pilot program?
Well, 50 would be that would be the initial shipping order to that fleet manager. And when they start, what happens is we don't throw them into the deep end of the pool straight away. They basically start off with one small number, like 10 or 15 to begin, and just to get their feet under them and see how it works. And they're only going to put out scooters if the usage is there. So, they're not going to put out as many as they can. If they're not getting rid of it, doesn't pay them to have them sit unused. So we could start small and see what the adoption looks like after the first couple of weeks, and then maybe put out 5 more and see what that adoption looks like. The good thing is you're going to have access to that data, so you'll be able to see how many rides you're getting every day. Is it picking up? Is it staying the same 15? What does it look like? So without a number in that range, it's kind of hard to say if you have 30 people, 25 to 30 people riding every day, that's not a lot of scooter rides. And also, it's not really a lot of scooters out there. So we would start small, and if we ever gain to that number, you would never see 50. Now, like I said, you normally see probably 25 to 30 on a high end beyond that.
So, have you already done speaking with rotations, or is it just someone you identified as a possible partner?
I just identified them as a possibility. We actually, there's a whole social media links that we would do to look for people in the community, send out ads of people that think they'd be interested in doing it. And obviously, we want to pick someone from the area because that local knowledge is super important.
Okay. Those are my questions. I'm sure the rest of the commission has questions.
Yeah. I have a question in terms of the equipment itself. Do you only have two-wheel scooters, or do you also have three-wheelers?
Only two.
Only two-wheel?
We have e-bikes as well, and we don't have the trikes for the e-bikes either, so it's really only two-wheel vehicles.
Only two-wheel.
The e-bikes make it so
Exactly.
if you are a municipality and we're looking somewhere in the county, based e-bikes makes actually greater distances. I get that.
I want to, thank you for the great, any other questions from any other members?
Question, thank you for coming on. I did have a question concerning insurance and coverage. Can you explain a little bit more the liability, user, village, the manager of the freight, and yourself, how it's what's the amount of coverage for both?
So I can send along the RCOI, so you get an idea of what our premise looks like for the town. We identify the town itself, so there is no liability for the town. The insurance that we have for our riders, I'll have to check on the coverage totals for that as well. But as long as they adhere to the member agreement, which they signed at the beginning of their ride, they are covered by our insurance. I can also send you all the identification language as well, plus our limit, the COI on our limits. So you have to see that as well.
It's definitely something that
Is that helpful, Christian?
yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
yeah, I think it's definitely something that the committee will look into, and, but I think, it's a great presentation. I really appreciate it, and it's very special for our community where we center around this, a train station, we have the beach locations, we have the central village business district locations, so it's...
That's excluded. By the way, I've used the service in Los Angeles, and I use the service in many cities, and it's really great to be able to just get on the scooter and go someplace.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't think it's going to be allowed in the village district, the central village district, because it's kind of crowded. So I think that's the exclusion zone. So you're going to have to go around the village.
Yeah, well, we can study
The last
it.
piece was it about the train station, or was that last piece?
No, the last piece was whether, how much of it should be allowed within the village business district because of the density and how tight it is and so on and so forth.
No, right, and I remember reading, that there were, was I correct in assuming that the bikes are prohibited from the large main district downtown? I remember reading that.
Jobs Lane, Main Street.
That's why that whole area would be, scooters would not be allowed, bikes are allowed, and scooters would be
Well,
allowed.
the issue,
That zone, that should create that area where you couldn't ride into it.
yeah, but if you can't ride at that location, the issue with the bicycles and is because of the parking. The way we have allowed this 45-degree parking, that's really unsafe for bicycles, and that's why it was prohibited. But before we had the 45-degree parking, bikes were allowed there. We even had a bike,
Never.
we had a bike lane going right through,
Village?
yes, there was a bike
Never.
lane.
Never.
Oh.
I've lived here since '83. We've never allowed bikes in the Main Street or Jobs Lane.
On the hill, on Hampton Road.
Oh, Hampton Road, maybe?
Yes, on Hampton Road, I'm talking about Hampton Road.
Oh, okay.
No, because in the village, because of the parking.
Oh,
It was-
whatever the
because of
reason
parking.
was.
It's when we changed the parking on on Hampton Road, that's why we prohibited the bikes. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. Really great to look forward to continuing the discussion on this.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks for everybody else on that.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is to introduce the senior planner who recently joined the team. Not sure whether Kat is Alex on.
Yes, he is.
Okay, great.
He's coming over, give him 1 second.
So, Alex recently joined the team at the building department as the senior planner to coordinate the applications among all the various boards.
Alex, how you in?
Good evening, I'm sorry for being so late for this meeting right now.
Okay. So, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and, the position and the challenges that you are going to take on.
Sure, so good evening, everyone. This is Alex Wada. I'm a professional player and started building full-time director. My background in education is in business planning. I'm going to sometimes talk about knowledge development for the planning, but previously worked with planning and building boards, school planning at Babylon, and I started planning with my own village for those who are agile. So appreciate how much work goes into land use boards. So my role is going to be coordinating between the applicants, with land use boards and building department. Hopefully, making sure things go smoothly, and representing the building department at those meetings. And also hopefully actively involved with building efforts, being fresh about the master plan, and the planning efforts going on.
So I'm looking forward to hearing how I can support you in your work and your mission. And that's it. Feel free to open it up to any comments or questions.
Oh, Alex.
Welcome aboard.
Just so I understand your function and your role as planner, and obviously planning has a lot of different facets. So for instance, if the Planning Commission is wanting to explore something like a climate action plan, would you be someone who would liaise for that, or we be coming to you, or is your function really between the other boards, such as the ZBA and the Planning Board?
Well, I expect it would be with the Planning Commission as well. If there's projects that you'd like to work on, I'm happy to help coordinate between that, the department and the other boards. And I would talk to some folks about working on code changes and zoning amendments and things like that. So anything planning related, I would hope to be able to support you in your work to the extent that I can.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.
So welcome aboard. So we'll look forward to working closely with you, Alex, to develop new and improved regulations for the village. And right now the village building department has had a lot of new staff members. We have Tin, who is the chief building inspector now, and we have our two building inspectors, Dave Arborici and Dave Harper, the two building inspectors. And and to assist them, we have Rovit Morales, who works part-time, Derek Highsmith, who's been here now for quite a while, Jackie Allen, who unfortunately is now quarantining. We had Danielle Taget, I think, who also works part-time, and Diane Greger, who is a long-time village employee, who comes who now works 1 day a week at the village building department. So we look forward to working with you, Alex, and we'll be reaching out, and hopefully you'll work more with the Planning Commission. So thank you for introducing yourself.
I look forward to working with you and joining a very hardworking staff at the building department.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
I've worked with Alex's old boss, Jonathan Keys. So he said a lot of good things about you, and it was actually quite topical because Jonathan and I were. I'm sorry. Just okay. Well, we should.
Yeah. So moving right along on the agenda, we had I circulated some of the results of the village master plan, some of the results from the questionnaire to the various members of the Planning Commission. It was the result of the public surveys and idea walls that we had on the village. I was wondering whether anybody had any comments about the results that were in that survey. I would like to add that the survey we had, I think there was approximately 200 respondents, I think, to the survey against a population of about 3,200. We right now have close to 3,200 registered voters within the village of Southampton. So the survey was responded by approximately 6 to 8% of the population. But it still, I think, is a good sample and a good indication of where the direction we should be going. Are there any comments on the results from anybody to look at it? Any comments? Laura? Does Laura have any comment on the?
I don't think she can hear you very well, Mark.
Yeah, what did he ask me, Kev?
He just wants to know if you have any comments.
If you have any comments on the Southampton, on the public survey, the results?
I'm sorry?
The public
Regarding
survey.
the questionnaire.
I haven't even seen it, so I don't know.
Oh.
He hasn't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It was circulated to all of the Planning Commission members.
It's on the village website, this questionnaire?
Yes, it's also on the village website.
Have you seen it, Pam?
Yeah, I've got it. They sent a Gmail out the same time, at the same time we got tonight's agenda.
Oh, I saw the survey. I saw all that, yeah.
That's what he's asking about.
But it's not a questionnaire, it's just a fact finding.
Well, that's what he's asking about, what you thought of it.
Haven't really had a minute to study it. I will.
Well, I think I would certainly encourage everybody on the commission to look at it, and then maybe next time we'll have more comments on it and review it. I think it's a very well presented survey, and it does support the need of more services to seniors.
The same as this.
It's similar to this. No, this is the census, the latest census. So moving right along on the, is there any update? Do we have any updates on the senior center? We don't. We're expecting this. We'll expect an update maybe at the next meeting on the senior center. And I think this is I was looking to get an update on the bearing of the utility cables, but I think Michael Anderson is not here tonight, so maybe he can brief us on this at the next meeting. So, and here there's also, the last item on the agenda was to review the possibility for the village building department to accept the town-issued home improvement contractor's license instead of only the Suffolk County license. Right now, the building department, the village building department only accepts for the issuance of the permit contractors that have a Suffolk County license, and the town also issues its own license. I understand that the mayor has had contact with Janice Scherer at the town, who heads the land management at the town, to possibly review that contractors who have a town license can also get permits from the village. The town has a licensing review board that reviews complaints against contractors, so that would be maybe helpful for the public to go to a town meeting instead of to have to rely on the county. So on this, if there's any other items that anybody on the Planning Commission wishes to discuss.
Does anybody have anything to discuss tonight?
No.
No? All right, so I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, and we'll see everybody on March 3rd. And again, as I said before, on March 3rd, either we'll do a full Zoom meeting, unless Kat can secure the proper equipment to do a hybrid meeting. So on this, I wish everybody good night, and we'll see you in a month, and thank you again for your participation. Thank you.